Close the door tightly and don't look back. The Whispering Farmhouse. The old farmhouse loomed on the horizon, a skeletal silhouette against the dying embers of the sunset. Sarah gripped the steering wheel tighter, her knuckles white. "Are you sure this is the right place, Ben?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Are you sure this is the right place, Ben?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Ben, his usual bravado dimmed by the oppressive atmosphere, glanced at the crumpled map on his lap. "Yeah, this has to be it. Abandoned Miller farmhouse," it says. Road rattling the car windows. Dead leaves swirled in a frantic dance around their wheels. An unsettling silence followed, broken only by the rhythmic creaking of the car's aging frame. "Maybe we should just turn back," Sarah suggested, her voice laced with unease. The farmhouse seemed to exude a palpable sense of dread, a feeling that wormed its way into her bones. Ben scoffed. "Come on, Sarah, we've come this far. Besides, it's getting dark. We can't just drive all night." Hesitantly, Sarah pulled the car into the overgrown driveway. Weeds choked the path leading to the house, their skeletal fingers reaching out like grasping hands. The once white paint on the farmhouse was now a grimy gray, peeling and cracked, revealing the weathered wood beneath. Vacant windows stared back like empty sockets. As they stepped out of the car, the air grew thick and oppressive. A low moan seemed to emanate from the house itself, a sound that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. Ben, ever the pragmatist, dismissed it as the wind. "Just the wind playing tricks on us," he muttered, pushing open the creaking front door, the only light filtering through cracks in the boarded-up windows. The air hung heavy with the smell of dust and decay. A cold draft snaked around their ankles, carrying with it the faint scent of something rotten, something floral, like old roses. Suddenly, a disembodied whisper echoed through the hallway. "Don't. Come. Further." The sound sent a jolt of terror through Sarah, her heart hammering against her ribs. Ignoring the primal urge to flee, Ben grabbed a rusty lantern from a dusty shelf and lit it with a trembling hand. The flickering flame cast grotesque shadows that danced on the walls. "Hello?" Ben called out, his voice sounding strained. The reply was a chorus of whispers, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. They spoke in a language Sarah couldn't understand, yet felt strangely familiar, sending chills down her spine. As they ventured deeper into the house, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They began to discern words, fragments of a story, a betrayal, a lover's scorn, a vengeful spirit trapped within the walls. The lantern flickered and died, plunging them into complete darkness. Sarah shrieked as a cold, clammy hand clamped over her mouth. She could feel a ragged breath against her ear and the faint, sweet, cloying smell of roses. "You shouldn't have come," a voice hissed, sending shivers down her spine. Terror flooded Sarah's veins. She struggled against the unseen force, her muffled screams lost in the suffocating darkness. Then, somewhere nearby, let out a strangled cry. Panic spurred a surge of adrenaline. Clawing at the unseen hand, Sarah managed to pry it loose. Without a moment's hesitation, she bolted, the whispers swirling around her like angry hornets. She could feel a cold presence slither after her, its touch like a caress of death. She could feel a cold presence slither after her, its touch like a caress of death. Bursting through the front door, Sarah tripped and fell onto the overgrown grass. Scrambling to her feet, she saw Ben stumbling out behind her, his face pale with terror. Suddenly, a spectral figure materialized on the porch, its form shimmering in the moonlight. A woman dressed in a tattered white gown, her face obscured by long dark hair, emanated an aura of sorrow and rage. The whispers intensified, forming a coherent sentence this time. "Join us. Forever." Ben, fueled by sheer terror, sprinted towards the car. Sarah followed close behind, her breath ragged. They scrambled inside and slammed the doors shut, locking them frantically. The ghostly woman stood at the driver's side window, her face contorted in a grotesque mask of fury. Her eyes, glowing embers in the darkness, locked with Sarah's. A wave of icy coldness washed over the car, the engine groaning in protest. Just as Sarah screamed in despair, a rooster crowed from a distance, its piercing cry shattering the oppressive silence. The ghostly woman recoiled, her form flickering and fading like a dying candle. The whispers dwindled, replaced by an unsettling silence. Handled, replaced by an unsettling silence. The engine sputtered back to life. Ben, trembling behind the wheel, slammed the car into gear and peeled away, leaving the whispering farmhouse behind in a cloud of dust. They drove all night, neither daring to speak. The chilling encounter left them deeply shaken, leaving an indelible mark on their souls. The whispers of the farmhouse remained a constant echo in their minds, a reminder of the vengeful spirit trapped within its decaying walls. Sarah and Ben never returned to the abandoned farmhouse. The legend of the whispering ghost spread throughout the town, a cautionary tale for those who dared to trespass on forbidden ground. But as for the fate of the vengeful spirit, whether it found peace or continued its eternal torment, that remained a chilling mystery, a whisper carried on the wind. Thank you for watching.